Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happya Life podcast. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. Hello and welcome back to the Happya Life podcast. I'm Clare Deacon, your trauma-informed therapist, positive psychology coach and founder of Happya. And today we're talking about something that shows up in nearly every woman I work with: overthinking and overfeeling. So if you're ready, let's get talking. The exhausting pairing of overthinking and overfeeling makes you feel like you can't escape your own mind or make sense of your emotions. And if you're listening and nodding, I want you to know that this isn't because you're dramatic or broken or too much. It's because your nervous system is doing exactly what it learned to do. And the good news is we can work with it, not against it. So, this episode is for the women who can't switch off, even when the house is quiet, the work is done, and there's nothing pressing to fix. But your mind just won't stop spinning and your chest feels heavy. This is for the woman who feels like every decision is a minefield, like you're second guessing yourself, even on the small stuff. You analyze how you said something in that meeting, or whether your text sounded okay, or what someone's silence might really mean. This is for those of you who cry at the advert on the TV and then feels silly for being emotional, or who walks away from a conversation feeling 10 times more than anyone else in the room and wonders why no one else seems affected like you do. Overthinking and overfeeling aren't random personality traits. They are survival strategies, especially for those of us who've had to navigate emotional complexity without a roadmap, without that guidance. When your nervous system has been wired by stress, trauma, loss, or even years of being the one who holds everything together, it adapts by trying to control the uncontrollable. Your mind becomes a projector, running future scenarios over and over, trying to predict outcomes, prevent mistakes, protect you against pain. And your emotions ramp up because your body never learned what to do with all of that activation. So let's talk about the science for a moment, because understanding your body's response is what helps soften the shame. In survival mode, your brain's prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for the rational decision making and emotional regulation, becomes less accessible. Your amygdala, brain's threat detector, becomes so much more sensitive and more reactive. It lights up even when the danger isn't real, just perceived. So that one look from someone that felt off, the unanswered email, the vague tone in a text, your system reads it as a potential threat. and your thoughts and feelings go into overdrive. This isn't happening because you're weak. It's happening because your nervous system is trying to keep you safe. It just hasn't been shown what safety really looks and feels like. So I worked with a client recently who said, I feel like my brain's a washing machine on a spin cycle, and my heart is in my throat all day. And yet there's nothing really wrong. And that hit me because that's the reality for so many. It's not the big trauma moment that undoes us, it's the slow, chronic dysregulation, the accumulation of feeling everything all the time and not knowing how to come back to yourself. Let's take a breath together right now. Inhale through your nose and exhale slowly out through your mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale and release. Soften your jaw, lower your shoulders. You're here, and that's already something. So, how do we start to find calm in the chaos when your thoughts feel out of control and your emotions feel like they're running the show? The first thing is to stop trying to think your way out of it because overthinking isn't a thinking problem, it's a regulation problem. When your system is in sympathetic state, that's your fight or flight, you're wired to analyze, to anticipate, and to prepare. And when you're in dorsal, that's the freeze or shutdown state, emotions feel flat or overwhelming, and logic goes offline. Trying to reason with yourself in that moment often just adds more pressure. What we need is to come back into presence, and we do that through the body. Here are some of the tools that I teach that really work. But I want to say up front, these are not quick fixes. They're about consistency, not intensity. The more you practice them, when things are okay, the more accessible they become when things are hard. So let's begin with the pause practice. When you notice spiral beginning, say out loud, pause. This small cue disrupts the neurological loop. It tells your brain a different response is possible. Then name what's real. I am in my kitchen. It's Wednesday. I just had lunch. I feel anxious, but I'm okay. This is called orienting, and it engages your prefrontal cortex, bringing you out of that threat mode. Okay. So next, breath work. Not all breathing is equal. I want you to try this. I want you to inhale for the count of 4, hold for 1, and exhale for 7. So in for 4, hold, and exhale for 7. So the reason for extending the exhale is because activating the parasympathetic nervous system, that's the rest and digestive system, which signals to the brain we are safe now. Even if the mind doesn't believe it, the body leads the way. Another tool is the body scan. So you can notice where tension is held, maybe in your jaw, maybe your shoulders, maybe your stomach. Gently say to yourself, I release and soften here. And if that feels too much, just place a hand on your heart and the other on your belly and feel the contact. This physical cue will remind your system you're here and you're safe. And then there's co-regulation. The nervous system doesn't heal in isolation, it heals in relationship. If you can't call someone, try simply texting and saying, I'm in a spiral. Just needed to say it out loud. Or listen to the voice of someone who feels safe to you. Our bodies respond to tone, to rhythm, to connection, even when we're alone. I also want to offer a practice I use with clients called Name, Need, Nurture. It's simple, but quite profound. So when you feel overwhelmed, name what you're feeling. So I feel anxious, I feel stuck, I feel exhausted. Then name what you need. I need rest. I need clarity. I need a moment to breathe. And then nurture that need in a small way. Maybe that's lying down with your eyes closed. Maybe it's putting your hands on your heart. Maybe it's choosing not to respond to that email just yet. This isn't about fixing, it's about offering safety and care to your system in real time. So let's take another breath together here and just notice your body for a moment. No judgment, just awareness. How's your jaw? Your chest? Your stomach? How fast is your breath? If there's tension, that's okay. If there's softness, that's okay too. You're not doing it wrong. Now let's speak to the story underneath all of this, because for so many of us, the overthinking, the overfeeling become part of your identity. You're the one who always is thinking ahead, always holding the emotional weight, always making sure everyone's okay before checking in with yourself. And if you're honest, maybe you've forgotten what it feels like to not be in crisis mode. Maybe you don't even remember the last time your mind was quiet or your emotions felt manageable. But what if I told you that's not who you are? That's just who you became in survival. What if there's a version of you who still feels deeply, but no longer drowns in it, who still thinks carefully, but isn't paralyzed by it? She exists, and she's already in you, waiting to feel safe enough to take the lead. This week, I want to invite you into a gentle practice. When you notice yourself spiraling, whether it's in your thoughts or emotions, Take a breath and ask, what's the smallest thing I can do right now to move toward calm? Not total calm, just 1 degree closer. Maybe it's getting outside. Maybe it's naming your emotion. Maybe it's choosing not to ruminate for 5 more minutes. That 1 degree shift matters. It's not about doing it perfectly, it's about practicing safety in tiny moments. And if you're listening and thinking, this is me, I live in my head and I feel everything and it's exhausting, I want you to know you're not broken, you're not alone, and you don't have to navigate this by yourself. Reach out, make contact with me, let me know what's resonating, and I'll signpost you to support that makes sense for where you are now, whether that's working together or simply finding a resource that brings a little more peace to your day. You deserve calm. You deserve clarity. You deserve to come home to yourself. Not someday, but now. Not when you've got it all together, as you are right now. Next week, we're going to explore the guilt that shows up when you say no and why that guilt might actually be a good sign that you're growing. So until then, breathe, soften, and remind yourself your spirals do not define you. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. You are allowed to feel it all without letting it control you. You are safe here, and you're not doing this alone. Until next time. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website, happiercoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Clare Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.